Hey, what's up, cats and kittens? And shout out to all my cerebral lights. It is me, the Cerebral Diva, and she is back and officially in the building with a brand new video. And in today's video, it's going to be a juicy one. We're going to be talking about the controversial comedian known as Flame Monroe. Yes, that Flame Monroe. For those of you who are not familiar with Flame Monroe was one of the comedians who appeared on a recent Netflix special that was curated by Tiffany Haddish. Flame is I don't even know how to. Flame, I'm struggling with what pronouns to use to describe Flame. She calls herself he, she, we, or he calls himself he, she, we. So the he is first, so we're going to call Flame he. Alright, so he was on the Breakfast Club morning show, and he was talking about trans issues, and I was sort of scratching my head as I listened to this interview, like, why is he talking about issues that relate to the trans community, when clearly, if you call yourself if he is the most significant pronoun, he, she, we, that's the pronoun that you lead with, that's your leading pronoun, he, then why are you speaking to trans issues if you identify as he, first of all? So Flame Monroe, appeared on the Breakfast Club morning show and basically attempted to light a flame to trans advocacy, trans activism, and say that these are people essentially trying to force themselves in spaces and make other people uncomfortable. And it just blew my mind that this person who is essentially a man with breasts, and I know some of you may get mad at what I'm saying, oh well. So he, who is essentially, and let me say this right, before I go down this rabbit hole of referring to Flame as he, and a lot of you get upset, I'm calling Flame he because Flame addresses himself as he, right? I give respect to whatever pronoun you want to be called, whether it's he, she, we, them, they, their, what have you. You tell me what you want to be called, and I'm going to extend that courtesy to you, because I just think that that's what we should do as human beings. So if Flame wants to be called he, then so be it. So I don't want you guys to think that I'm trying to be snarky or trying to air Flame out, for lack of a better term, but this is how he prefers to be addressed. So I don't understand how a person who calls himself he, it's like a white person going and advocating on behalf of white people and saying, I don't understand why these black people are upset. I don't understand why these black people feel like they deserve reparations. I don't understand why let me tell you something really quick. To bring, and I know a lot of people hate when you conflate the issue of race and gender identity, or the issue of race and sexual orientation, but there are a lot of parallels that cannot be ignored. And the reason that I say that is because at the end of the day, is people trying to show up in places and say, I belong, I have rights. And I feel like every human being has the right to be who they are. You don't necessarily have to agree with that. I'm a firm believer you have the right to not like whatever it is that you choose not to like, but you do not have the right to make other people uncomfortable, to make other people feel inferior, what have you. So hearing Flame talk about trans issues when he does not even identify as a transgender woman blows my mind. And in addition to that, I'm a strong believer, and this is something else that may get me in trouble, I believe that there are truly, truly, truly trans women. And I also believe that there are what I like to refer to as elective trans. And let me tell you the difference. When I watch a show like I Am Jazz, when I see a book like The Princess Boy, where there's this little black boy who wants to wear princess dresses, and his parents are struggling with how to create a safe place for him in this world, no one can tell me that boy was not born with that chromosomal disposition, right? I just wholeheartedly believe that. And an elected trans person, to me, is someone who does not have the genetic predisposition, the chromosomal predisposition. This is someone who has been around other people who may have identified as trans, thought, hey, well, wow, that looks fun. Or, hey, wow, they're getting attention from me that I don't get attention from. Or, hey, they're able to use their aesthetics now to advance their position or station in life. Maybe I should do that. Maybe I'm trans too, and not necessarily feeling a real, genuine, again, chromosomal disposition to be trans. Because I hope that makes sense. So I believe that there are people who are trans, and I believe that there are people who have elected to live their life as trans, essentially a gay man living their life as a trans woman. And that is what I see when I see Flame Monroe. I do not see a trans woman. I see a gay man living as a trans woman. And so if you are a gay man, and we all know there's this division, if you watch the Dave Chappelle show, that there's this division between the L, the G, the B, and the T. And the T is the low person on the totem pole. So Flame is, in my opinion, thinking of things from a gay man's position. If you've never had those feelings and those inclinations that you were really truly a woman, to the point that you refer to yourself as a he, then how can you speak and advocate on behalf of people who, at the end of the day, right, transsexuality, transgenderism isn't a monolith. There are going to be people who fall on different ends of the spectrum. Same as black. You know, a lot of times people will criticize me in my day-to-day life, telling me that I talk like a white person. I'm like, huh? Like, how does a white person speak, and how does a black person speak? You know, so people have this very finite definition in terms of what they believe a black person speaks like, or what they believe a white person speaks like. And if you deviate from that, then for some reason you're trying to be something other than yourself. So I don't believe that in this particular instance, Flame has a dog in this fight. I don't believe that she should even be talking about this. Go on The Breakfast Club, promote your comedy, which isn't really that funny to me. I've seen Flame a couple of times, and it's been the same set. Like, if you want to work on something, work on some new material, because the jokes really just aren't that funny to me. Really, the whole set is just about self-deprecation, about her trying to, again, create a safe place in these heterosexual places, to make herself seem like, hey, I'm not this socially disobedient activist that a lot of trans women are. I'm actually cool with you guys. And the reason that Flame is cool is because she's self-serving, or he's self-serving. The reason that he's there is to get a check. And so in order to get that check, Flame wants to have straight people sort of rally behind her and say, go Flame, go, because at the end of the day, that's really her bread and butter. So seeing this Breakfast Club interview and seeing the way that Flame disrespected the trans community, talking about, calling them trannies, talking about Malik Yoba and the other trans women who appeared on that show alongside Malik Yoba, just really made no sense to me. And I remember at one point during the interview, she said that Malik Yoba and the other ladies who appeared on the show were really confusing. And I think that she's right to a degree. I think it is confusing. And the reason I think it is confusing is because people refuse to open their minds. People refuse to be inclusive. And so when you have people using language that is unfamiliar with them, everything is confusing until you know what it is. I remember taking trigonometry in high school and how confusing that was to me. But at some point, I began to grasp the concept and say, oh, okay, now it makes more sense. It never made complete sense. But at a certain point in time, I began to at least grasp the concepts. And I think that that's what we have to do. At the end of the day, everyone has a right to exist. Everyone has a right to happiness. Everyone has a right to peace and solitude. And this idea that certain people, because of who they are, or quote unquote who they choose to be, which is so mind-boggling to me, why would anyone choose? Why would anyone make a conscious choice to say, hey, I want to be marginalized? Hey, I want to be discriminated against for housing. I want to be, excuse me, I want to feel unsafe in this world. Why would anyone make a conscious choice to choose that? Doesn't make any sense. Doesn't make any sense. People aren't choosing. They're being chosen. And I know that's hard because one of the things that I find that a lot of black people do, not even just black people, I don't even want to reduce it to just black people. People aren't able to make the distinction between sexual orientation and gender identity. They conflate the two things and think that these two things are one and the same. How you identify and what you're attracted to, those two things are mutually exclusive. And so because of that, I think a lot of people get really, really, really confused about transsexualism. Again, I'm a firm believer in if it's not bothering me, I'm not bothered by it. Just not my business how another person chooses to live their life. Whether you choose to put tattoos all over your face or put these huge gauges in your ear or, do some of the things that people choose to do in society. It's not my business, not my body, not my business. That's really sort of my mantra. That's how I live my life. And I wish more people would adopt that. There was something else that I wanted to say about this whole... one of the things that was what I found really interesting and a bit of a contradiction was that Flame was talking about how if we just let people be, or people would just allow people to be themselves and quit trying to force yourself in places that, you might gain more acceptance. Bullish. I said ish, you too. I call bullish on this one. And the reason I say this is that if you listen to the interview, at one point during the interview, Flame talks about going to school. Now, Flame, who dresses like a man during the day, but still has like a set of double D breasts. That is bizarre to me. That is bizarre to me. I didn't call it weird, bizarre. I don't quite understand it, but hey, to each their own. Excuse me, I have a little bit of cold, by the way. So, Flame mentioned during this interview with the Breakfast Club that when she goes to her children's school, that she sort of puts on this big sweater and sort of convexes his chest to make the breasts disappear as much as he possibly can. Why are you doing that? Why is that necessary based on your philosophy? Why can't you just go in there and play as Flame and be yourself? Because, this world is, you don't have to be in a safe place. There's, people are accepted. Just stop trying to not be yourself. Like, it just doesn't make any sense to me that on one hand, you're telling trans women that they need to stop worrying about, trying to create spaces where they can exist, but at the same time, you're afraid to go to your school as yourself. And the reason is because you know that it won't be accepted. And it won't be accepted because of the vitriol, the hate, the self-deprecation that you are creating, that gives people an excuse and gives people license and agency to go throughout the world and feel like they have the right to tell people where they belong. That's about it. I'm really curious to hear what... Oh, and also, really quick before I go, another thing that she did was she talked about Monique, the comedian Monique, quote-unquote, stopping her bag. And in order to... in order to get back at Monique, she essentially called Monique's husband gay. The oldest trick in the book. And the lowest blow in the book possible. Like, why would you... I just don't understand why you would weaponize homosexuality being who you are. Like, okay, my mind is blown. I just thought it was the most ridiculous interview. Of course, Charlamagne was eating it up. Of course, DJ Envy was eating it up. Only because, people like to hear that kind of talk. Because that type of talk makes them feel comfortable. And I believe in order to grow, you have to be uncomfortable. Having said that, you guys, let's remember to live better, love harder, and please think smarter than Flame Monroe. Like, comment, subscribe, and share. It is me, the Cerebral Diva, signing off. I will talk to you guys again soon. Have a fantastic day. Bye-bye.